All right, everybody, welcome to Art in the Basin. I'm Amy Joy. You are here tonight. Comedy with Clyde, WOODHAM, and open mic, hybrid open mic. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show, or see you guys in another lifetime. Without further ado, let me introduce them to guide you through this evening. Please help me welcome author of 4 novels, including my favorite second acts, once known as the minor god in the Chicago poetry scene. Can we ask somebody to lower the music, please, or turn the music off? Sorry, guys, we gotta turn the music off. I'm sorry, can you turn the music off? Thank you. All right, we'll start that again. Hi, everybody. Please help me welcome, once known as the minor god in the Chicago poetry scene, Tim W. Brown, everyone. Come on, give it up.
Hey, everybody, here in the cafe and out in Zoom land. Yes, we're doing a hybrid event here. Comedy followed by an open mic that will include comedy and storytelling and some poetry and all kinds of stuff. So please do stick around, order food, order drinks. We're here live at Monomore Coffee and Wine, 238th Street and Broadway in the Bronx, New York. Anyhow, feeling like a little Bronxy tonight. I did on Sunday the Tour de Bronx, or Tour de Bronx, depending on how you pronounce it. Not Tour the Bronx, but anyway. 25 miles, I did that one. You could do 10, 25, or 40. I did 25 plus 7 to get to the starting line at Grand Concourse and 161st Street, and 5 back home from the New York Botanical Garden, the finish line. Anyway, saw parts of the Bronx that I was pretty familiar with, but I was on some streets and saw some other sites that I was not familiar with, off the beaten path a little bit. So it was really a nice treat, and it was a beautiful day for bike riding. As I said, I'm feeling a little Bronxy. We're here every other Tuesday. We've been here since 2017. And that's who we are, Art in the Basin. That was Amy Joy who introduced me. I am Tim. I often start these events, because I've run out of my own poetry to read, with poems that I dig out of this great app, poemhunter.com, or Poem Hunter. Literally thousands and thousands of poems by famous people and not so famous people. This one is a Bronx poem. I looked up Bronx tonight for the first time. I'd never done that before in several years of doing this. But tonight I looked it up and I came up with like a beautiful yet kind of challenging poem by Reginald Shepard. Orpheus Plays the Bronx. When I was 10, no younger than that, my mother tried to kill herself. Without the facts, there can't be faith. One death or another every day. Tanqueray bottles, halo the bed, and she won't wake up all weekend. In the myth book's color illustration, the poet turns around inside the mouth of hell to look at her, losing him because it's not her fault they had to meet there. So he can keep her somewhere safe, save her place till she comes back. Some say she stepped on an ass. A handful of pills littered the floor with their blues, the red and yellow music. Al Green was on the radio. You were at school. Who's ever seen an ass? If Brewster Hill, purple and black, so death could get some color to fill out his skin. Another bony white boy, jealous of all her laugh too loud. That's my song when Barry White comes on. He's just got to steal it. He can't resist a bad pun. Never, never gonna give her up or back. The pictures don't prove anything, but one thing I remember about the myth's still true. The man can't live if she does. She survived to die for good. Wowee, powerful poem by Reginald Shepherd there. We're going to have other stuff going on tonight that's not quite so heavy. So stick around, both you on Zoom and people here in the cafe. Without further ado, let's bring up our featured act tonight. Sometimes during the history of art in the Basin, we've done poetry, a lot of poetry, some fiction, some storytelling, some music, and some comedies. One of our favorite comics is here tonight to do his routine. He's been with us a couple of times as a feature now. And everybody, let's welcome back to the Basin, Clyde.
Thank you, Cleveland. Hello, I'm Chevy Chase, and so are you. Now, before we get started, I would like to let everyone know that I am what is called a recovering psychotic. And I would like to say something about that before we get started. I used to do sketch comedy with 3 lousy broads. Their names were Tawny, Shawnee, and Dorney. They were real hot and real funny. One of them, Dorney, could play guitar real good. We used to do shows in a haunted house. But one day I realized I was putting too much emphasis on Tawny, Shawnee, and Dorney, and they made me act and talk like this. So I don't hang out with them no more. Thank you. Another thing you should know about me is that I am from Georgia, and that's not something I like to broadcast because Georgia is one of those places they say that everyone lives at a slower pace, and the pace they live at down there is not at all. And that's why they had that slogan, Georgia, why bother? So as you can tell already, I have a dark and mysterious past. And I find that in my current days, if I run into someone from my dark and mysterious past, the only thing I know how to do is smile, wave, and look pretty. And I find that exuding that kind of confidence prevents them from cursing me out or beating me to a bloody pulp. So confidence, guys, it's not about winning people over. It's about them avoiding you. This guy gets it. So a lot of people these days like to talk about what generation they belong to or their time period. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. I'm just happy to say that I am too young to be part of the generation where Bob Dylan would be the voice of my generation. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want this voice to represent me. I just never got it, you know. So it's a broken, faded bird you learn to call your heart. So, I have a bad habit. I have this bad habit of going to this really terrible place. Like I go to this terrible place all the time. This ugly, awful, just disastrous place. It's called the inside of my head. It is the ugliest, most broke down, burnt up building you've ever seen. All the furniture smells like dead animals, and there's like not one but like 3 portraits of Dorian Gray just rotting on the walls. I really need to fix that place up. I'm not going to keep going there. So I've been watching a lot of the Transformers lately, and not those movies they made because that lady looks like Tawny. Supposed to touch yourself. She don't look like Tawny. She ain't Tawny. She ain't Tawny. I don't talk like that no more. I don't act like that no more. I keep my visions to myself. But yeah, the old show, the Transformers, and you know who my favorite Transformer is? Razor Claw! Ah! Razor Claw is the leader of the Predacons. Ah! Razor Claw forms the chest of Predaking. I ain't lying. Because he's a robot that turns into a lion, you see. Welcome to my nightmare. Welcome to my breakdown. So, we live in, what is it, the 90s now? And everyone tells me, oh, I need to get all my food from Grubhub. You got to get all your food from Grubhub. But it's the darndest thing. I can never seem to find a Grubhub. Is there one in this neighborhood? Is that?
Yes.
Well, you know what? You guys took that joke too seriously. Let me try that again, but as the Transformer Optimus Prime. So we live in, what is it called, the 90s now? And everyone tells me to get all my food from Grubhub, but it's the darndest thing. I can never seem to find a Grubhub. Is there one in this neighborhood? Okay, now see, the subway's distracted me. Let me try that again, but this time as dead comedian Judy Tenuta. Hey, pig. What is it, the 90s now? Everyone tells me I need to get all my food from Grubhub, but it's the darndest thing. I can never seem to find a Grubhub. Is there one in this neighborhood? Oh, it could happen. But enough of my political humor. Someone once told me that nothing can be funny if it doesn't have context. And I found that is not true. Because I was working at the bar the other day. I work at a bar, and I was standing there with nothing to do. And this attractive young lady sits at the bar by herself, which always means if an attractive young woman sits at a bar by herself, she is waiting for a man she already knows to come in. So don't get excited. Calm down. Exactly. Sure enough, a few minutes later, a guy comes in. He's wearing a very nice, very expensive suit, but his hair is all a mess, and he has this very disheveled look on his face. And he goes up to her, and she says, "What happened?" And he says, "I had to get married at work today." And then I had to go do something, and I have no context for that. Way funnier than if I knew the actual story. And I was leaving my house to get on this very subway. And to do that, I had to walk by the Burnt Down Diner. You guys know the Burnt Down Diner? And yeah. Burnt down. It looks like the inside of my head. And there was a guy digging through the dumpster behind it. He was frantically digging through the dumpster, throwing stuff out like he was looking for something. And then he stops. Like he found what he was looking for, but I can't see it because it's still in the dumpster. And he looks down and he just says, "No, it's all covered in boo-boo." And I had to catch the train, so I don't know what happened. And I'm glad that I don't. No context. Thank you. Nirvana. All right. You know who I have a really, really terrible relationship with? I have an awful relationship with the bank. I mean, the bank is like the worst girlfriend I've ever had. And I'm starting to talk to the bank like that because I don't really go to the bank often. I don't keep a lot of money in the bank, but they feel the need to talk to me all the time. Like every month they send me an email that says, Your account is overdrawn. And my only response is like, Shaw, kitten, that's because you took $12 out of it for no reason. We've talked about this. So I've just gotten kind of tired of everything. And I pretty much only listen to doo-wop music now. And the reason I listen to doo-wop music is because it all sounds the same. It all sounds like this. It's all like, pretty little angel eyes, pretty little angel eyes, pretty little, pretty little, pretty little. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law. Like, we didn't need to have the Beatles take that away from us. Like, all music should just still sound like that. We don't need drum machines. So for the longest time, I thought that I was non-binary. But that's only because I thought that non-binary meant a person who hates computers. And to this day, I don't know what non-binary means, but boy, do I still hate computers. No offense. Oh yeah, and that's another. It's these days. Catfishing has gotten very, very popular again. Everyone's talking about catfishing. How people like to go catfishing. They had these experiences catfishing. Like, I've been catfishing since I was a little kid. You know what? I love it. But I'll just be straight with you guys. Every time I go catfishing, I make sure to bring my John Deere rod and reel. And also a cast iron skillet so I can fry them up all good. Cajun spice. Is that guy serious or what? So I, for one, am very happy that Sex and the City is back on TV again. Can we all give it up for the TV show Sex? Yeah. And usually when I say that, people boo. But since you guys like that show so much, would you care to... Oh. Since everyone hates that show, would you like to see my impression of the TV show Sex and the City? Yeah. All right, here we go. Honey. Miranda, please. I was in Police Academy, the first one. Also, my vagina. Sex and the City, everybody. The world's most unpopular TV show. And since no one cares for that TV show, I'm willing to bet that you do want to hear about movies. And who better to talk about movies than the world's greatest film critic, Mr. Joe Bob Briggs. This is the longest part of the set, so get ready. Joe Bob Briggs. So just the other day, I had to serve jury duty, and you'll never guess where I had to do it. The city of Westfinster. And if you don't know where Westfinster is, it's the city where Heathcliff and Riff Raff the cat live. It's a city where the sun never goes down, and it's perpetually 1985. It's filled with nothing but courthouses and donut shops, so 90% of the population is either lawyers or cops. They're all nice, though. It was kind of like being in an episode of Night Court for 2 straight days. When they sent me on a lunch break on the first day, I decided to dine at a lovely establishment that was a hibachi buffet / movie theater. We're talking Chop Socket City here. Anyway, on my way back to the courthouse, I actually ran into Heathcliff. Turns out he's been spending the last 25 to 30 years of his life knocking over trash cans and singing Danzig songs, waiting for this thing called the moon to come out. As luck would have it, I was not chosen to serve on a jury, mostly because I was so distracted by the heartache I was feeling on account I was dumped by my girlfriend of 5 years, the one and only Kimmy Tom Becker. This was a woman who could play guitar and piano like David Bowie, sing like PJ Harvey, and she looked like Claire Forlani in the movie Basquiat. What does she do? She ditches me to get hitched to a guy who looks like the lead singer of Smash Mouth. I didn't think it was possible to hate the song All-Star more than I already did. I guess in hindsight, Kimmy Time Becker was just some bimbo with a modest acting career. She wasn't a real woman, or an RW, as I like to call them. You know who was a perfect example of an RW? Gina Davis. But I didn't come here to tell you that. I came here to review a movie called Creepazoids. Creepazoids is this flick set in the futuristic year of 1998, where a group of military deserters have to hide in an abandoned science facility to get out of an acid rainstorm caused by stock footage of clouds moving in fast motion. It stars Linnea Quigley as Blanca, the hot one, and Ken Abraham as her brawn over brain G.I. Joe boy toy. We also got Jake, the leader, and that's about as descriptive as I can get with him. Kate, the other girl, the smart one, and this wimp named Jesse. Jesse not only has bursitis, but he also knows how to use computers, which is how they find out that the science facility was used to make artificial amino acids. After all that plot, we get Alien Knockoff City. A dollar store version of the H.R. Giger alien grabs the wimp. Next thing you know, he's puking up Kikkoman teriyaki sauce and melting all over the table. That's when the other four start running around the film lab, chasing after the guy in the rubber suit until only Jake, the leader, is left. And that's when he has to fight a fake rubber mutant baby puppet who tries to strangle him with his own umbilical cord. I guess since his plan was, we'll just check it out, he wasn't very prepared. We're talking 6 dead bodies, 2 breasts, both of them Linnea's, so that's plenty, 4 beasts, a half pint of blood, no vehicle chases, no vehicle crashes, aardvarking in the shower, gratuitous floppy disk usage, heads roll, laser foo, amino acid foo, hypodermic needle foo, rat foo, mutant baby foo, and of course, bookshelf foo. A 25 on the vomit meter. Academy Award nomination for Linnea Quigley for being Linnea Quigley and saying the line, "This is wrong, all wrong." Academy Award nomination for director David Dakota for keeping things moving despite the plot. 3 stars. Joe Bob says, check it out. Hey, there's a dog here now. All right, well, you guys know it's Halloween season, right? It's Halloween season. So you know what that means? That means it's time for tonight's top 10 lists. And tonight is top 10 reasons that adults should go trick-or-treating this year. And this is a very special top 10 list because normally we have side comments by band leader Paul Schaefer, but tonight we have side comments by guest band leader Warren Zevon. All right, top 10 reasons adults. Thank you, ma'am. Yes. Yes. Yeah. We're all composed here. We're all composed. So, top 10 reasons that adults should go trick-or-treating this year. Number 10. I legitimately enjoy the music of 311. I jam with them. Number 9, Fleetwood Mac won't hang out with me anymore. That's a cheap shot, Dave. That's a cheap shot. Number 8, hey, do you remember Pogs? Hey, I wish I could say I didn't. Number 7, you smell like a dashboard. And that's what happens when you drive a Corvette. Number 6, the hot lady from the Toyota commercials. Yeah, she's got that red shirt. Oh, you like the red shirt war? Yeah. Number 5, I never got that guest shot on Northern Exposure. Hey, I got a guest shot on Suddenly Susan once. Number 4, Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, no whammy. Wrong show, Warren, wrong show. Number 3, I don't want to be that guy. What guy do you want to be? I don't. Number 2, this bit isn't working. Yeah, they agree. Yeah. And the number one reason that adults should go trick-or-treating this year. My name is Luca. I live on the second floor. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Clyde. Everybody, another round of applause, please, for Clyde, our featured comic tonight. And thank you all for coming out tonight to Monomore Coffee and Wine. We try and be respectful of our readers and performers here. So, try and keep it down a little bit if you wouldn't mind. Anywho, as I said, we're here every other Tuesday. In 2 weeks, November 7th, we are going to feature the poet Scarlett Gomez, who's a lovely young woman, just published a book recently. The name escapes me at the moment, but she joined us earlier this summer at a reading in Washington Heights with the Inwood Artworks, the Filmworks al fresco. Unfortunately, the film did not occur that night because it was so windy. The screen kept blowing down, but we poets persevered, and Scarlett was one of those poets, and she did not blow away. Let's put it that way. November 7th, 7 p.m. Wow. My days and nights mixed up because, it gets dark so freaking early all of a sudden. I just can't handle it. I feel like it's about 10:30 at night, but it's only what, 7:30 or something? Anyway, let's get to our open mic. We have several people here that we're really excited to see, and welcome back. Let's see. I hope I have everybody down here. Well, shoot. Why don't we just sort of ask Frank? Come on up. Frank Moshman, guy we met online when it was COVID time, and he's been here a couple of times. Funny guy.
Okay, which sets should I do today? Oh, hold on. Let me get something out. 1 second. I'll do my best one. One Glenda's not here like this one. Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay? So last August, Trixie and I celebrated our 25-year anniversary. Thank you. I thought I might get a standing ovulation. Now, I don't know how Trixie feels about this, but I still carry around a picture of my ex. What do you think? Oh. Oh. Next time I'll show you my triple X. Now, just to show how old we are, we actually met through something called the phone personals, probably before all the internet dating. And we never had a photo of each other. So I had a backup plan. If I did not like the way Trixie looks, when I first saw her, I would have said, "Are you Janet?" So when they say, "Frank, what did you see in Trixie?" Well, she's attractive, she's sweet, she has a sense of humor. When they say, "Trixie, what did you see in Frank?" I don't know, but I used to be very nearsighted. I was at work. Everybody asked, "What keeps you up at night?" The first person goes, "Computer failures." Second person goes, "Deadlines." They got to me and I said, "Viagra." Okay, don't get me started with Viagra. Viagra is expensive. It'd be much cheaper if I was single. I can pay women to pretend they're having a good time. I went to the doctor and he said, "Frank, if you take Viagra, you have an erection on demand." The problem is I just turned 60. There's no demand for my erection. Erection on demand? That sounds kind of kinky to me. if being given demands means I get an erection, I would have had much more sex with my first wife. And Trixie, well, she always fakes orgasms. The only time she'll scream in bed is when the Wi-Fi signal goes out. Okay. The other day, Trixie was screaming, yes, yes, don't stop. My neighbors knew I was doing the dishes. Trixie loves role playing in bed. Her favorite role is sleeping woman. The last time we made love, she was carrying in her hand. I thought it was a telephone book. Telephone. It was a life alert button. She just loves the sound of the words. Help! He collapsed on top of me and won't get up. Now, I hate to admit this, but before Viagra, if I were to make love, I'd also hit the life alert button. It's true. Help! I've fallen and I can't get it up. Now, before I met Trixie, I've had nothing but psychotic ex-girlfriends. And things actually worked out with one of them until I did kind of abruptly. I gave her a ring and she gave me the finger. And before I met Trixie, I did terrible with pickup lines. I said to a woman, I'm a famous chess player. Really? Yes. I'm looking to meet a woman to make some moves on. Heck, at my age, I do far better at chess than I do with women. It's easier to get mated. I also notice a lot of women in their 20s and 30s smile at me, and I'm realistic. I have two chances with them, slim and none. Okay, don't rub it in. Now, during the day, I'm an IT professional, information technology, and my title is software tester. There are actually some people in my field that do cybersecurity work. There's actually a title, I'm not making this up, penetration tester. In fact, if you go online, there's 1,000 openings. Now, if I were to change IT jobs, I'd be very happy with horizontal movement. I'll consider an entry-level position. I would take an unpaid internship. And finally, some of the things that you typically see in job listings might have a slightly different meaning for penetration tester. Salary based on experience. No dress code. Or work is hands-on. Pay for performance. Potential for growth. And latecomers need not apply. Thank you very much. I'm Frank Marshman.
Thank you very much, Frank. Yeah, for this funny stuff. Yeah, a little risque, you know. Sometimes we get that way here at Art in the Basement, a little risque. We tend to be not so political here, but we do tend to be, you know, like risque on occasion. And, you know, certainly a lot of love poems have been read here. So thank you, Frank, for that routine. Let's look at the clipboard here. Who do we have online, actually? I'm trying to see. I see the Elegant Ivory Duo. Hello. And okay, that seems to be largely who's online. So we'll get to them in a moment. But before then, let's hear for some more people here in the room. Oh, that was the thing that we did. Rhymed. So yeah, here we are in the room, as well as on Zoom. Let's hear next from Barbara. Are you going to do something tonight? Not tonight. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Well, let's do her other half. I'm not going to say better half. I will say other half. Adam.
I'll warm you up. I have a friend of 50 years, my oldest and dearest friend. I love him dearly. He's a good soul, but he's not the brightest bulb in the marquee. But a few years ago, we're having a conversation. My friend Steve says to me, he's in Boston. He goes, I don't know why they raised my car insurance rates. I only had 7 accidents last year. Good friend of mine. I don't drive with him. This is a story that requires a little bit of background. I call it a vintage story because it goes all the way back to the time I had hair and the time that I was young. And it was a time that I was actually single. It was before Barbara and before my first wife, my late wife. So we're going all the way back. And I have been very fortunate. I have these friends in Mexico. And so they're 4 brothers. They're the baby in the family is 70. The oldest one was 86. This story is in his memory because he just recently passed away. So there are 4 brothers in this town in Mexico that my mother sent my older brother to learn Spanish. I was sent the same summer on a program to learn French and connect with a family in Canada. My brother never learned Spanish, but connected with his family. I learned French and never connected with my family. So it was a good match. Now, this goes back to a time, I'm 24, 25 years of age. Yeah, I was that age at one point. It's kind of hard to remember. And I had you didn't hear this, I had a girlfriend. And it was supposed to be a one-night stand, but it got stretched out. And so as it's breaking up, I say, I gotta leave town. In that time period, to leave town in the middle of the winter to go to someplace warm, like now, would cost you your arm, your leg, and probably a few more body parts. And so it did cost me back then I can really remember this, about $700 to go to Acapulco, Mexico in the middle of February. But I get there and I hang out with this family. I hang out with these friends. They're all university educated, engineer, accountant, statistician, and also entrepreneurs. And their town is located, their life was centered in the state of Guerrero, which is one of the poorer states of Mexico. Acapulco is the largest city. Chilpancingo, if you do it on Google Maps or your weather app, it's going to be Chilpancingo de los Bravos, although nobody knows what that is down there. And their town is Tixla. Now Tixla is about 15 or 20,000 people. This extended family, the brothers, 2 of the brothers in the middle, Rogelio and Jaime, decided, and Barbara and I found this out just recently in the last couple of years, to open up a little market for their mother to do something and their father to do something to keep them busy in their little town. And in Mexico, if you're well off, you live behind plain walls. The market was next to this very plain house. Behind the walls, you couldn't see. And they were comfortable and they were very good at it. And then the brothers said, well, let's take this to the next level. But they didn't say it then. That's what we say today. So they go through a few iterations and they're looking for the right real estate in the right town. So they move and start looking in the state capital. Now it's a really provincial state capital. It makes Albany, New York look absolutely like Midtown Manhattan. It is so provincial. So in these towns in Mexico, the prime real estate is on the town square. It's the town square in Mexico is called the Zocalo. It comes from Spain, where the town square was the plaza. It just morphed as it came over to this side of the Atlantic, the name changed. And so the brothers put their minds together and they're looking to open up this sort of what we would call today a hypermarket, hypermarché. And in their search, Rogelio takes an apartment in this state capital. In the meantime, I have gone down to visit his brother in Acapulco. If you know anything about Mexican history, you'll know that the Aztec king at the time the Spaniards came was named Montezuma. And you will also know, if you've ever traveled to Mexico, what Montezuma's revenge is. Montezuma's revenge is when they tell you not to drink the water, trust me, don't drink the water. Except when you go down to the beach, which is open to everybody, you just don't think you have a Cuba Libre, which is rum and Coke in Mexico. And there's a form of water in that drink. It's not the Coke, it's the ice. I wound up in the hospital all day. This is like 1980, 1982. The bill for the day, for the whole day in the hospital, was $9. Now, the irony of that $9 is that during COVID, I cleaned out we all cleaned out papers that we didn't know we had. My mother, may she rest in peace, my mother was a saver of papers. There was a bill for my birth at a hospital that is now located, it's Mercy College in the Cross County Shopping Center. My mother was shopping for a cheap obstetrician. The bill in 1956 was $9.20. And I thought that was good. And that included $3 for oxygen, mind you. Okay, so I'm sick as a dog. I'm sleeping 20 hours a day. In many cultures, mama is king, not queen, king. She rules. She takes one look at me and says, he's got to go up to Chilpancingo. So I go up and I stay in this apartment, which Rogelio is staying in till he buys whatever property. And he sends me out to walk on the Zocalo. Now, I've been told that I don't look like a Mexican. Okay, I think it's kind of obvious. I'm walking. This is a side story. I'm walking in the Zocalo, and Mama, Rogelio's mother, who's about 80, she gets this wonderful dog. It's an Afghan. Trust me, nobody has ever walked an Afghan, and no American, no gringo has ever walked an Afghan in this Zocalo in this town. But here's the punchline of the story. Well, we'll get to it in a moment, but Rogelio's cooking for me. Very sweet guy. He's standing there skinning all the vegetables, peeling them, because in Mexico, if you don't peel the vegetables, he didn't want me to get sick again. So he's peeling the vegetables, and I'm looking around his flat, and one of the things I really don't see is a garbage can for papers or anything else. So Rogelio is cleaning the vegetables, making the salad, whatever vegetables he's cooking. And I turn to him, I go, Rogelio, ¿dónde está la basura? Where's the garbage? And he's standing at the sink. Now picture this, he's standing at the sink here. He opens the window and takes the peelings, just Rogelio said, yeah, that's the basura. Turns and does it again. Okay. 2 years, 3 years later, I go back to visit Rogelio, because I've gone back to this town a number of times. Rogelio, what happened to that street? That, the one that you use as the garbage can. Oh, Adam, this is Mexico. They just paved it over.
Adam Stoller, longtime friend of Art in the Basin. Thank you for coming out. He and Barbara, like I said, long-time friends. So thank you again. Great to see you. It's our second night of the fall season. 2 weeks ago, we had a very nice event where we featured Teresa Daly, lives up the hill in Riverdale, and it was a book release party. She read some poems and sold some books. It was a great night. But we're here tonight for this event. And it seems like comedy is the theme. Comedy is the theme tonight. I don't know. It's like we have a comic storyteller, a couple of stand-up comics. Let's bring up another stand-up comic. We want to welcome her back. All right. Well, you can. I mean, okay. He's got a good bit, so we'll get to you in a second, Mindy. But well, he's got a good bit. All right. Who is this guy? Donald. Everybody, please welcome Donald, who's come forward.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight? How you guys doing tonight? How you? How are you guys doing tonight? Yo, crazy world we're living in tonight, guys. I hope everybody's feeling good. Hamas versus Israel. That's a crazy fucking topic to have in Riverdale. We're in the Bronx, Riverdale. Man, I live in Washington Heights, New York City, Washington Heights. You know, you already know I'm a bartender here in the Bronx, but I live in Washington Heights, and I go to the deli, and this lady is going off. Well, all right. I gotta be honest. She's been going off since 9/11. To be honest with you. And I love her. She's a great lady, has kids. I don't want to say her name to get her in trouble. It's too close for comfort. I go to the deli. I'm all right. To be honest with you, I watched the Hamas versus Israel fight. I know there's a big war. A lot of people got killed. It's a terrible thing. Terrible, terrible thing. I go to the deli to go get a sandwich because I've been drinking. I've been binge drinking for the past 3 days, bartending. That's what I do. I binge drink and then I work and then I give you guys good food, good drinks. But all right. So I'm watching this war going on. I go to the deli and this lady is just going off on the clerk, the cashier clerk. Obviously they're Middle Eastern, but I have no opinion about it. But I'm just like, I order a cheeseburger and the lady goes, "Oh, Hamasa, give me a bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll." And I'm just like, yo. But the funny thing about it was, that's not even funny. The funny thing about it, the people that work there were like congratulating her. They're like, "Yes, you know about the shit." I told the lady to relax. Like, too many people got killed, children, women, is that's a problem. But at the same time, I'm like, Lance. We're in Riverdale. There's a lot of Jewish people. At the same time, I love Jewish people. My best friend is a Jewish person. But at the same time, he does complain a lot. I worked at the Standard Hotel for 7 years as a bartender, and this guy was my best friend, and he literally complained about everything. He's like, "Yo, dude, man, do you know how much whenever the fucking Dominicans or the Puerto Ricans, they break a plate or a glass, you know how much that shit costs the fucking company?" And I'm like, "Bro, I don't even fucking care." He's like, "Yo, bro, the only thing I want you to know is that, like, this is your money too." I'm like, damn. Now I'm concerned. He said, "It's my money too." Goddamn. So I'm not even black. I mean, I'm half black, half white. I'm not even Puerto Rican or Dominican. I'm telling Puerto Rican, Dominican people like, "Yo, you gotta chill. Breaking the glasses is fucking my money. It's fucking me and my Jewish friends' money up. You heard? I don't even know what to do anymore about this shit." And then my mom said she won the lottery. Bro, okay. I'm going to be comfortable right now because this is crazy. She said she won the lottery. Her boyfriend scratched the fucking scratch off or whatever. And then I'm there visiting for like Thanksgiving, and we won the lottery. We have $350,000 right now. I'm wilding right now. I'm wilding. I'm going crazy. I'm fucking yelling at people in the neighborhood. I live in Washington Heights. I'm yelling at people in this Myrtle Beach, South Carolina neighborhood, like, you broke ass nigga, you ain't got shit. I'm kicking little kids' bikes over, like, your family's always gonna be broke. I got $350,000. I walk back into my trailer where my mom lives at. Yo, let me see the ticket. Man, that shit wasn't even real, bro. And my mom the whole time was like, oh my God, I knew it wasn't gonna be good. And I told her, like, I always knew this motherfucker wasn't shit.
All right, give it up for Donald, right? I just want to make a nice disclaimer that all the views shared here today are not the views of Art in the Basin, and we do respect the voices of everyone. So, Tim W. Brown, come on back.
Yeah, and we, we are supposed to, change names to protect the innocent, but we don't necessarily do that. But anyway, yes, thank you, Donald, that take. Let's hear next, before we move to the Elegant Ivory Duo, who are online here, let's hear have a return by featured reader when she was a reader, not a comedian. And then later this summer, we did a couple things this summer. We had an event that featured 4 comedians at Bella Notte restaurant up the hill. And they have a location there as well. That's right. That's right. All right. Well, the restaurant up here, we did comic night, and Mindy was one of the comedians. So please, everybody, welcome Mindy.
Just be gentle with my mic, please. Definitely.
Oh. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm not here to do comedy tonight. I'm sharing some poems. When I was 17, my boyfriend told me he wanted me to be his wife. It sounded so romantic at first. He said, we will become one. I thought that would make me a half. I didn't want to be a half. Okay. Oh, and now I'm talking to a comedy crowd, see? But when I did comedy for a poetry crowd, I said I'd never do that again. Oh, that was awful. They're being polite, thinking they shouldn't laugh, Anyway, this is my other poem that I'm going to share. 198th Street. 2 drunk men being loud as I walk by. One declares, I'm going to get me some Italian pussy. I'm not Italian or a pussy. I decided it has nothing to do with me. Women walk around them, and I think if 2 drunk women were out here saying, I'm going to get me some Italian dick, there'd be a line around the corner.
Thank you, Mindy Matajesovic. Thank you so much. It was great to hear some poetry from you. Actually, we heard some fiction, or more like memoir before. It was really great. So thank you again. Let's see. Who else do we have on tap tonight? We have at least one other person. Barbara. Oh, all right. Well, Barbara has now decided to move up here. So
You want to be over?
Well, let's see. Can you all hear me okay? Mind you, this is unrehearsed. So be gentle. I'm not sure what's coming out. I'm going to explain to you why Jews complain. Okay, definition of a Jewish holiday. They tried to kill us, we eat. Passover, Pharaoh tried to kill us, eat. Purim, Haman tried to kill us, eat. Hamantashen, right? It even comes out in our conversational patterns. Now, Latinos, before you ever get down to business, you swap sugar. How are you? How's your kid? ¿Cómo están los vecinos? Right? Jews, before we talk, before we say anything, we complain. My beloved comes home. Before I get to hear about his day, I have to hear about the lousy service at lunch and it wasn't cooked right. And I have to hear about the traffic on the street. My father's sister, Rose, the last conversation I ever had with her. Aunt Rose, how are you? Well, you know, Michael, my son, you shouldn't know. He's not doing so good. And Max at the garage, forget it. Me, but we're fine. 1 week later, she dies. It's built in culturally, and that's why Jews complain.
All sides.
Thank you, Barbara, for that. I love hearing your stuff, Barbara. I wish, please do come back and read some more, recite some more, because we love your stuff. Always have. Anyway, before we move on to our final people on the open mic tonight, is anybody else here to do any like open mic kind of entry here? Poetry, comedy, fiction, storytelling, music, penny whistle, jaw harp. Anyway, okay, well, we're gonna feature next the Elegant Ivory duo, who have been waiting patiently online on Zoom. Hopefully they will give us a second to set up the sound. And while that happens, let me tell you about what they are up to. And this, by the way, is something that Amy Joy and I are going to attend. It's this Friday, October 27th at 7 p.m. And this sounds great, really. Dance of the Word in praise of Halloween. This is almost Halloween, right? The Elegant Ivory duo, who you'll hear from here in a moment. Poets, Gordon Gilbert, Ron Colm, my gosh, one of the original Unbearables. I always told people, if I lived in New York City in the 80s and 90s, I probably would have been an Unbearable, but I wasn't. I was in Chicago, where I was a minor god in the poetry scene. That's who else? Alan Baxter, Julie Bolt, Dee Dee Champagne, Philip Betchman, and get this, belly dancers. As well as a number by Evie Ivy, who is one of the hosts. It's $15, but I'm sure it'll be well worth it, especially the belly dancing. It's at 353 West 48th Street. That is between 8th and 9th Avenues. Do check it out. Like I said, 7 p.m. Studio 3. We will be there, Amy Joy and I, and hopefully maybe some of you will be as well, because we are huge fans of the Elegant Ivory duo, whom we've only met, by the way, online. And this will be our first in-person meeting. You can imagine that. Anyhow, are we ready, Amy Joy? I will mute.
Coming over. Supposed to say something.
Hello, do you hear us?
Can you hear us?
No. They're trying to figure it out.
Can you hear us? Hello, can you hear us? Yay.
All right.
Woo!
Thank you for the nice. That's Friday. It's second floor, 3 West 48th Street. Evie Ivy has been doing an event, a monthly event in Brooklyn, also at the Green Pavilion restaurant, and that's like 33 years, once a month. I think she's only missed like 4. Anyway, nice being back here as usual. We're gonna do a number for you today that I don't know if and how many of you know the name Vic Mizzy. He's not a household name like Richard Rogers, but Vic Mizzy was one of the composers of Green Acres, the television show music. He also composed The Addams Family. He did a lot of composing for background music on TV, but he also wrote one other song. He wrote a lot of other songs, but one became kind of popular in 1950. In fact, it was so popular that Teresa Brewer made it into a huge hit. Dean Martin, the great Dean Martin from Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, he was a singer, Dean Martin. He recorded it. The Andrews sisters recorded it, and lots of people recorded it. So I won't even give it away. But boy, if you don't know this, you ain't been around the corner. All right.
Hello. Yeah. Happy Halloween. My mom gave me a nickel to buy a pickle, but I didn't buy a pickle. I bought some chewing gum. Chew, 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 chewing gum. Oh, I love chewing gum. Well, I'm crazy over chewing gum. I chew, chew, chew. My mom gave me a new dime to buy a fresh lime. Well, I didn't buy a new lime. I bought some chewing gum. Chew, 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 chewing gum. How I love chewing gum. Chew, 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 chewing gum. Well, I'm crazy over chewing gum. I chew the day away, it seems. I'm even blowing bubbles in my dreams. My aunt gave me a quarter to buy soda water, but I didn't buy her water. I bought some chewing gum. Chew, 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 chewing gum. How I love chewing gum. I'm crazy over chewing gum. I chew, chew, chew. Choo choo, Charlie was an engineer. Chewed on gum between cans of beer.
My grandpa gave me a few dollars to buy him a nice fresh collar. Well, you should have heard him holler.
You're a thief.
Well, I had to buy him something for his bad breath, so I bought chewing gum.
Chew, 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 chewing gum. How I love chewing gum. Chew, 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 chewing gum. Well, I'm crazy over chewing gum. I chew the day away, it seems. I'm even blowing bubbles in my dreams. I found a box with singles and pennies, swapped them all for some 20s. I'd spend those 20s at JCPenney's and later at Denny's. And I still had some left for chewing gum. Fruit stripe gum, bubble gum, sugar-free, liquid-filled, spearmint, peppermint. Chew, 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 chewing gum. Oh, I love chewing gum. I'm crazy over chewing gum. I chew, chew, chew. I chew, chew, chew. I chew, chew, chew. I chew, chew, chew. Thank you. Elegant ivory on the piano. Woo!
All right. Thanks everyone so much for coming out tonight. There's a message on the phone that I don't quite understand, but ooh, hey, what was that? On the SCTV back in the day, there was this deal with like Count Floyd, who was played by John Candy, the late, large comedian, and he used to do this. When he was Count Floyd. I can't remember the bit, but yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you again to Clyde, our featured comedian. Give it up again for Clyde. Give it up for the open micers, and most of all, give it up for Monomore Coffee and Wine. Staff here. Hosted us here since 2017. We're going into our 7th year here, so we're very appreciative. We don't, not anywhere near the 33-year mark, I understand, that EVI has done. But, in, let's see, 26 years, we'll have done 33 years here at Monomore Coffee and Wine. Anyway, thanks again, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks with Scarlett Gomez, 7 p.m., 234 West 238th Street here in the Bronx, New York. Let's turn it over to the co-host with the most, Amy Joy, who will usher us out of here with the traditional AITB benediction.
Tim W. Brown, everyone, right? Come on, he was a good host. All right, so this is how I end things. 3 words. They are let, love, and I need you to say it in unison with me on toi, okay? On deux, trois, let, love, lead. All right, but if you're here with me in 2023, going into 2024, you're going to put lead first. So lead, let, love. All right, lead, let, love. All right, you guys got it. So lead with love and let that love in and out. All right, guys?
Hopefully it spreads.
Peace on earth and all goodwill to you. Okay, all right. Bye, guys. Ciao. Thank you all for being here.
I love that.